Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So here's another deck profile for you guys today. This time it's on True King Dinos. Now I know people have been requesting this simply because Lithosagym is finally back at 3, and funny enough, Dinosaur is actually a pretty good matchup against the Kashtiras because, especially with Conductor Tyranno being able to just book a moon the entire field, yeah, like that's actually pretty good because at least your stones will be free up. Plus, this deck can easily go first or second depending on what direction you want to go. Mine can kind of do both regardless if I win the dice roll or not, but yeah, I figured I'd just share with you guys what I came up with, and yeah, let's go and get started. So the main deck is actually 42 cards, and that's only because I added in a couple of extra tech cards just for added consistency, but we'll get to that momentarily. Starting off with 2 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I mean, obviously this is going to be your main OTK piece. You can Book of Eclipse anything as long as you destroy a dinosaur on field or in the hand. So, and it just synergizes so well with Baby Saurus, and it can also attack all monsters. And the best part about this effect is that he doesn't, when he attacks a defense position monster, he sends him to the grave and burns your opponent for damage. Alright, next up, 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Obviously, it's going to be your main starter. It's a Rhoda, it's a Foolish Burial, and a Monster Reborn on legs. So yeah, Oviraptor's pretty broken. 1 Miscellaneous Source. Card is limited, so yeah, but it does give your dinosaurs protection during the main phases only. It also has a graveyard effect where you banish it and special summon a dinosaur depending on how many you banish. So like, example, you banish 1, you summon a level 1, etc, etc. But anyway, moving on. Actually maxing out on Baby Saurus, I'm running that at 3. And the reason for this is because you want to have as many earth monsters as possible. Just so your Lithosagym is always live. And not to mention Baby Saurus is just crazy broken because special summons any level 4 or lower dinosaur. And it is a mandatory effect, so just bear that in mind. I'm also running 2 copies of Petite, basically the same thing as Baby Saurus, only special summons level 4 or higher. And it's also an earth monster too. But the monster that you summon off of Petite's effect cannot attack that turn, so just bear that in mind as well. But overall, like, you mainly just need them as free fodder for your Lithosagym. And also synergizes pretty well with the Dragonic Diagram, so that's really nice. Next up, 2 copies of Animadorn Archosaur. You pop a dinosaur just to add an evolutionary pill, evolution pill card, so basically double evolution pill. So yeah, Animadorn Archosaur is pretty strong. For the 1 of Dinos, 1 Pankratops, a good going second card, plus you can bring it off the effect of Petite, so just to have added disruption. 1 Giant Rex, because it always brings itself back once it's Spanish, but it's the hard ones per turn, so, but it's also pretty good. Cannot attack directly, unfortunately. And lastly, one of the new tech cards, 1 Doodlebee Stego. So a lot of Dinosaur players are actually starting to run this now because not only is it a free extender, but the trap card is really good. So yeah, like once this card is special summoned or normal summoned, you can add a Doodlebook spell or trap. And of course, it does have a side draw effect. If you control no monsters, or if all monsters you control are dinos, you can just summon this literally for free. So yeah, Doodlebee Stego is pretty nuts. And that pretty much wraps up the actual dinosaurs. So moving on to the True King package. Let me go and get these out of the way. Alright, so for the True Kings, obviously I'm going to be running 3 copies of True Think Lithosagym. Lithosagym is just crazy good because the fact that if you pop 2 earth monsters, you get to snipe your opponent's extra deck up to 3 monsters that they have. So like, for Brandon, obviously you want to hit their most key cards like Mirror Jade, Renbrum, Gragunul, or even the one Labelli. Well, actually Labelli not so much. It's really Albion that's going to be the one that you want to hit, but they'll always run that at 2. But overall, like the fact that you give yourself some advantage just by, having some knowledge of what they're playing, yeah, Lithosagym really comes in clutch. I'm also running the fire one. Yeah, I may not be running too many fire monsters on the main deck, but we do have extra deck fire monsters too. So, because again, these True Kings can also pop from the field. So, but I like the fire one because, if you pop 2 fires, you get to banish 1 monster your opponent controls, and it's non-targeting. So yeah, the True King packages overall is pretty good. I'm also running the 1 Nemesis Keystone simply because it does recycle a banished card you control, or one of your banished cards, and puts it back to the deck to special summon itself. And if this card itself is banished, you get to add it back to your hand as long as you banish it within that same turn. So yeah, Nemesis Keystone is just really good. I know people have been telling me to run this, and luckily enough, I happened to find one in my bulk. I didn't even know I had one, so yeah, it's pretty cool. It also helps the fact that it's also an earth monster. Alright, for my hand traps, I'm running the Gamma package simply because I feel like it's one of the best hand traps. Plus, you can't hit it with Called by the Grave, so that's really cool. And of course, I'm also running 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, another good hand trap, so yeah, why not, right? Alright, so now we're moving on to spells. For spells, I'm still opting to play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. You can play Pot of Extravagance if you don't have access to this card, but bear in mind you will have to adjust your extra deck accordingly if you're going to play Extravagance. So I would recommend running a bunch of 2-ofs. 3 Fossil Dig, 3 Lost World, you know, obviously so that way your opponent can't target anything so long as they have a token. 1 Diagram, 1 Terraforming, 2 copies of Double Evolutionary Pill, and for the only other trap card aside impermanence, 1 copy of Doodlebook. So what this card does is, when your dinosaur monster is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, then you can special summon 1 Doodle Beast monster from your graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also destroyed during the end phase, so it does have that little drawback, but it's also good is that if this card is in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card from your grave and add 1 level 5 or higher dinosaur monster from your deck to your hand. So this searches out Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, so that's pretty nuts. But yeah, Doodlebook is such a good card, and yeah, it just has so much value. Alright, so that wraps up the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. The extra deck's pretty self-explanatory. I'll just get the XCs out of here. 1 Dulka, you know, since the monster negate. 1 Logia, it's a Judgment on legs. 1 Dugaris, a Tornado Dragon, Abyss Dweller, and if I need a win by time, you know, Gustav Max definitely helps. The only synchro I'm running is the Omega, simply because, you know, we are running the Gamma package, so it definitely comes in clutch. For links, I got the Almirage, the Link Haribo, and of course Secure Garna. This just helps me get double evolution pill live. 1 Cyphering Lord Lambda. I decided to throw in Alsa. Alsa is actually pretty good, especially against the mirror, because, you know, again, you are running Earth monsters, but it also kind of gets you out of the Ibly lock. So if your opponent is on Ibly, you can just like summon out any one of your Earth monsters, link it off into Alsa, and then you can still go off to the races. So yeah, Alsa is pretty strong. And plus, if she's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add an Earth monster from your deck to your hand. So and you got plenty of targets for that. But a majority of the time, it just goes with it's just fodder for your Pot of Prosperity. 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and of course Axis Kotalker if I really need to go there. And yeah, that's it. Alright, now for the side deck. I kind of just dabbled with the side deck a bit just to see like what I felt like was pretty good for this strategy, but naturally I am running 3 copies of Nibiru. This kills Kashtira or any deck that summons like crazy. So like, heck, even Dark World kind of loses to this card if they don't have any extra follow-up. I'm starting to see Sword Soul making a resurgence, because like, in fact, at my locals there's several Sword Soul players. I decided to throw in Token Collector just to throw them off, because like, some people aren't running Token Collector on their side decks, and I just want to be prepared. So if I ever come across that one Sword Soul player, boom, like they're pretty much stuck there. Or any deck that kind of takes advantage of the Brave Engine, because like, yeah, the Brave Engine may not see as much play right now, but some decks are still using it. So yeah, it's always good to be prepared. Through Geki, it's basically the same thing as Lightning Storm, just if anything, this one's a little bit better because it's not once per turn. So like if they negate one and I happen to have another one in hand, I can just clear off the board with the second one. I also got Twin Twisters. I was thinking that or Cosmic Cyclone, but I think Twin will do just fine. And of course, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. And this one, I was kind of debating which one I wanted to go with. It was either going to be Droplet or this card. So I'm going with Solemn Judgment for right now, just to see how I like it. And if I don't like it, yeah, I'll definitely throw in Forbidden Droplet. But so far, Solemn Judgment works just fine if you really need that extra stun push. And yeah, it definitely comes in clutch when it needs to. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.